evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Welcome to Calumet Public School District 132 Board of Education, October 17th, 2024. Greetings to everyone. Roll call, John.
Yes, so what time is it?
6:01. 6:01.
All right. Brown, absent. Dixon, absent. Golar, absent. Kimbrough,
Present.
Love,
Here.
Story,
Present.
Harris.
Present.
All right.
The pledge and flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of agenda. Suggested motion hereby move that the Board of Education approve the agenda for October 2024 regular session as presented. Make a motion by Ms. Story. Second. Second by Ms. Kimbrough. Roll call, John.
Yes, Brown, absent. Dixon, absent. Golar, absent. Kimbrough,
Present. Yes.
Love,
Yes.
Story,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Superintendent's report.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board, community. Tonight for our superintendent's report, I am happy to recognize our principals across the state of Illinois. We recognize October as National Principal Appreciation Month. So our principals do an outstanding job of making sure our schools are up and running, our students are learning, and that our community continues to grow. So tonight, we actually only have one of our principals with us. The other two are out. But I wanted to recognize our principals, Mr. Dalen Brown from Burr Oak Academy, Ms. Sandra Brown from Burr Oak Elementary School, and Mr. Teron Ivy from Calumet Middle School. Right now, they are being presented. Mr. Ivy, our principals are being presented a plaque which has a statutory resolution from Governor J.B. Pritzker. Thank you, Mr. Ivy.
Thank you for all you do.
Next on the agenda, at the request of the board, we will have a student activity fund presentation given by Chief School Business Officer, Dr. Gasparro.
Good evening, Madam
Good evening.
President and Board of Education. Tonight, I'm going to give an overview of the activity fund per the request of the Board of Education to help provide some information regarding what is an activity fund, how it differs from the general funds, and to provide some examples to the Board of Education, then answer any questions that the board may have. So I'd like to start off on slide number 2, which gives, per the ISB's Illinois School Code, it gives a good description of what the activity funds, what is an activity fund. So activity funds are used to support our students. Oh, sorry about that. So the purpose of an activity fund is to support student activities outside of the classroom. And that's the key line right there, outside of the classroom. Examples of what an activity fund, what they are clubs, organizations, sports. The funds are collected from these activities and are held by the school campus to be spent or invested for the benefit of students. Examples of a student activity fund would be like a homeroom club, a yearbook club, an art club, choir, band groups, class projects, student council, and student-sponsored events. Activity funds are generally funded by student fees, and I want to provide some clarity there, what I mean by student fees, not to be confused with registration student fees. But a student fee, for an example of an activity fund, would be several school districts charge, if you're in the band, they'll charge $50 for a student fee to participate in the band. Other forms of revenue that fund the activity fund are vending machine commissions and also fundraising activities. The school district's main involvement, and I'm going to repeat this, the school district's main involvement is to provide stewardship of these funds. So we're there to provide the eyes to do bank reconciliations, and I'll get to that, but to be a steward of the funds from the district office lines. In addition, school activity funds can be used to support the educational, recreational, and cultural activities of students, faculty, and staff. These funds are unique to school district funds and are used for a variety of purposes, including school district programs such as athletics, band uniforms, book fairs, music concerts, and school plays. Per our board policy here in District 132, this came straight from board policy 4.9, student activity funds, the superintendent or designee shall be responsible for supervising student activity funds in accordance with board policy 4.8, which is formulated from board policy 4.8, where it focuses on the accounting and audit side, state law, and then Illinois State Board of Education rules for student activity funds. So here are some examples of, here in District 132, what our student activity funds are. I'd like to point out that there are no student activity funds at BOA or BL. Our only student activity funds are here at the middle school. And those accounts are the CMS hoodie and t-shirt, where funds are raised to sell the hoodies and t-shirts. So there's the CMS hoodie activity account. The boys and girls basketball team raises money and fundraises for those activities, as well as cheerleading, volleyball, graduation, 8th grade luncheon, track, fine arts, and band. So those are the activity funds for Mr. Ivy at CMS. This next slide is I wanted to give the board an idea, starting July 1st at the beginning of this fiscal year, what funds have been collected in this current fiscal year. And currently, as of July 1st, the district in the CMS hoodie and t-shirt fund has collected $1,850. As the year progresses, Mr. Ivy has activities that come up, other funds will be fundraised and go in those accounts. And then last but not least, for my presentation, I wanted to provide the board what the business office does to reconcile and what that process looks like. So usually around the 8th or 9th of every month, the business office receives a bank statement from the bank where these funds are held. And I believe Dr. Zander, correct me if I'm wrong, is it Bank Republic where those funds are? I believe it is. But every month, so on August 8th, we'll say, let me go backwards. On July 8th, I reconcile the bank statements for June and how we finished the fiscal year. So if you look at this document and you see up at the top of 7/31/24, beginning balance as of, that's how we started the fiscal year. We started the fiscal year for the month of July with $11,640.20. There was no checks that were written or cleared on the bank statement, so that's why you see the dashes. And then we had $3 in bank fees. So our ending balance as of July 31st, we finished July with $11,637.20. So you can see as of August 31st, there was a check that was cashed for $335. There was also another $3 in bank fee. So we finished the month of August with $11,299.20. And then most recently, at the beginning of October, we reconciled the bank statement for September, and you can see that's where the $1,850 comes in for the deposit into that account. Like I stated earlier, it was from the CMS hoodies and t-shirts. $3 for the bank fee, and we finished the month of September with a $13,146.20 fund balance. So to provide clarity of the difference between activity and general funds, activity are funds that are raised through fundraising and through clubs and sporting activities, and general funds are funds that are raised through our local property taxes, our state dollars, EBF, and then our federal dollars. Two distinct, clear, there's a separation between those two. So I'm open for any questions if the board has any questions.
I have a question. So we've been having basketball games. So do we collect any monies at the game?
I believe we do have people up front that are collecting to get into the basketball.
And so what fund does it go to?
I believe that started in September, correct? That would go into the basketball, boys and girls basketball.
Okay, so is it included in the amount of their?
According to the bank statement, there was nothing deposited for the month of September. So when, maybe those funds will deposit them in October, and then that will be recognized on the bank statement.
Right.
If there were funds collected, it would be recognized on the bank statement, and when I reconcile, that will be included on the bank reconciliation.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Ms.
Where did the beginning balance come from?
The beginning balance came from prior year revenue and expenditures, so that's how we finished last fiscal year. I can't speak to last year. Maybe Dr. Alexander could jump in to give an explanation of where those funds came from as to start July 1st.
So it's the same thing that Dr. Gasparro was saying a couple slides back. Those same chart of accounts, basketball. Can you go back, Dr. Gasparro, to the chart of accounts right there? So that's the same chart of accounts that the money has come in. And that money accumulates over the years. So that's been growing for years. Activities, fundraisers, and things of that nature.
So what is it going to be used for?
So it's used for those activities. So whatever club or whatever group brings the money in, that's who basically spends the money. A lot of the money comes in, a lot of money comes in for 8th grade graduation. The luncheon and all of the activities, most of it goes right back out. The t-shirts and the hoodies, those go in, I think it's like a $2 or $3 profit per t-shirt, per hoodie. What else we got up there? Basketball, boys, girl concession, it goes to their uniforms. We just purchased uniforms for basketball last year. We're looking to do the same for track now. So the money comes from those individual activities and it goes right back. It's earmarked directly for that, for that group.
So we shouldn't be charging students too much since we have this balance, right?
So since I've been here, I have not charged activity fees at all. They
You know what I'm
used
talking about, like for the cheerleaders or the basketball team, we buy their uniforms.
So it all depends on what the plan is. I think this year we just bought everything. We bought
Okay.
all of the uniforms. But but last year they did a fundraiser with the Double Good, the popcorn. So they bring in money, or they may have to pay $10 a person along with whatever the money that's been raised or collected.
Okay.
I did notice, I heard what Dr. Alexander said, when I was reviewing the expenses for last year, I did come across an expenditure, and when I asked questions, I was told that we spent money on uniforms last year, and that's the plan for this year, like Dr. Alexander said too. So the whole purpose of that activity fund is to raise money that benefits students, to raise money for students, and to spend money for students in those particular charter accounts.
So one other, I'm sorry.
But this,
Go ahead.
Two questions, I think,
Yes.
and I apologize for being late. Can you, two questions, one of which is, they warn us as board members to watch this activity fund. Is there a reason why this particular fund experiences more abuse? And there isn't a clear scrutiny. It is very clear in the training that we give board members that we're supposed to watch the student activity fund because there have been prior abuses. Can you share why that might be a problem, this particular?
I think I can. The activity fund in some districts, and this is kind of an old school thing, was managed more by individual organizations. So the PTA, they would manage some of it, which their parents, they don't work for the school, so you really don't have the oversight. And they actually had access to the bank account. So let's say your basketball team, your basketball coach may have access. We don't do business that way anymore. Everything is managed centrally by the district. And we account for it through our accounting system. So back in the day, it was literally, this is money that could be kept in the school, in the safe, like actual cash. You have access to go to the bank to get the money in and out, or to take money in and out. And so I think that's a thing of the past, just because now our auditors would never allow for us to have that level or that loose of internal controls with who deals with money, how it's housed, and things of that nature.
I could add to another thing that I've noticed, and Dr. Alexander pointed to this. What I've seen is the money that's raised for an activity usually gets spent that same dollar. So if $300 was raised for cheerleading, $300 was spent. And that was the purpose of raising the money, so they could fundraise for that expenditure. So, and my job is to get that bank statement and make sure that it's 100% from the top, make sure it's confirmed that per the bank statement, that's the revenue that we received. Per the bank statement, the checks that cleared and the fees, that everything adds up, and that my numbers match the bank reconciliation. That's what my job is. I do that for the district every month.
And then the term control around check, so are you issuing a check physically, or are you sending a request to the bank to issue the check once you receive the invoice? Who signs off on the checks?
So the process here, this is the same as our regular program. The person signs a check request. The check request goes to accounts payable for verification, make sure the money's in the account. The CSBO signs off on the requisition to say, yes, this is something to be paid. And then for the activity fund, there are two signatories in the district. That's myself and Dr. Saberson. So one of either myself or Dr. Saberson, usually it's me, I have to sign off on the check, the actual physical check.
And then per our auditors, it's good practice from a bank reconciliation standpoint that you have two people that review it. I do the reconciliation, I sign, and there's checks and balances in place that after I review it, there's a second set of eyes on it who reviews the work, and then they sign it. So there's two signatures that kind of follows that same process for signing checks from the finance side to make sure that every penny is accounted for. There's 2 signatures on the bank reconciliation document that our auditors require. So,
Yes, Alexander, this for you. As far as activities in BOA, BOA and BOE, do we have clubs there? I mean, there's no activity, is there no activity fund? Do we say yet?
So they do things and they have clubs, however, there's no pay. So outside of the middle school's the only one who has sports in the district. Sports starts for elementary at the 6th grade and goes up. Prior to me coming here, the district charged, I think it was $35, somebody can help me out. I think it was $35 per kid per year to be in a band. They had to pay, I think, $25 to be on a sports team. So we stopped that. So that's why, I mean, our activity fund is really small compared to a lot of districts. And because we don't have to pay, that's why you don't see anything from BO and BOA.
So question then, since if there's nothing there, I mean, can we, the CMS hoodie t-shirts, can we branch out to create t-shirts for them as well and then put that in the activity fund so they can have something? I mean, use some of this money to.
So I don't think the schools are hurting for anything in particular. The beauty of the activity fund is that it's not restricted by district budget. It's not restricted by accounting. So meaning you can't do certain things with grants or with federal money. It's not restricted. So that's the beauty of it. If they want to have a pizza party every Friday or every time they win, that's what that money is for. So the students at BOA and BO, I don't think they're going without, because the money that, well, they're not raising any money for any of the clubs or activities because there is no demand for it.
Right, but what I was saying is you share the love with the t-shirts so it can, so if in fact, I know you said they're not hurting for anything, but just to say, because you said not restricted, but we are restricted to these particular activities. So if some money's coming from the other schools, is going into that CMS hoodie t-shirt, so at least they, if need be, they can take it out of the activity fund because they put in.
And just for clarity, every school would have their own accounts. It's not just one basketball account for the district. Calumet has their own accounts, BOA has their own accounts. What's the other school? Murdoch Academy, they have their own accounts. So it's one bank account for accounting sake, everything is segregated. But yes, we can do that.
Definitely, and then they have their, so if in fact, like you said, it's not restricted, they could be able to use it and have a full money as well.
So-
At least for that,
Are you talking about the other 2 schools?
yes.
Well, I know that the other 2 schools, well, the principal, Ms. Brown, she had an ice cream section. So that money buying ice cream and things like that, do that come out of this fund? When they want to spend something?
No, it shouldn't. If they, like ice cream social, we can pay for that stuff like out of a grant for incentives or stuff like that. But again, the money for out the student activity fund directly impacts the kid versus, I don't know, it goes directly to the function that the students are using it for, volleyball, basketball, something like that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
yes.
Consent agenda items. Suggested motion being hereby moved that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda items A, B, C, D, and E. May I have a motion? Okay.
Motion first.
Motion by Ms.
No,
Love.
no, that was my question.
But are you motioning it though?
No, I was getting ready to say, I asked my question.
Okay. So who's motioning it? Ms. Brown motioning, second by Ms. Story. Question?
I'd like to pull B1, B2, and E. Questions?
Okay, so I wanted to ask you this. So prior to the meeting, have you asked the superintendent regarding the payroll and accounts payable?
No, I never do. I always ask it here,
Okay, but
so that everybody can hear the answer.
okay, but best practice, and we have said this prior to, any questions that's regarding the board packet, it should go right before the meeting to the superintendent. And therefore, he can talk with you regarding the payable and the accounts, the fund balance.
So in other words, you
So,
don't want the
what,
money
it
to
just
be
kills
answered.
time. It just kills
Why are
time.
we concerned about time? We know what time.
Because we're not just on our time, we're on other people's time. But so, if there are a long stream of questions, please allow the superintendent and Dr. Gosborough to assist.
Okay, I'll do that next month. But I
So we want to be mindful of other people's time, because I'm quite sure, just like myself, I don't want to be here all night asking thousands of questions of two
I never
huge.
ask thousands of questions.
Okay.
I just have 20 questions.
So if you're gonna ask questions,
Why are
so
you going through this
a
now?
couple of questions is
The
fine.
whole year I've been on this board. Why are you
How
going
many?
through this now? It's money questions.
I know that it is, but again, best practice, please, Ms. Love. Now, so
Next
you,
month I'm still gonna have my question, because the audience need to know what the money is for, how to spend and everything. And then whenever I have
Ms.
a
Love.
question on it, what? Here's my question. Who are the special area admin and the director of business support and the direction of central support service? What are those three
So those are not technically positions, those are departments.
departments?
Yes, so the direction of special services is special education. The direction of business services, the business office. The director of centralized services is academics.
Okay, so who's over those, the people who are in those departments?
So there's more than just, there's a lot of people in those buckets.
Okay,
You have administration, you have secretary, specialists, that's where they get paid from.
okay. That's all I want to know on that one. The other one, lunch, food. We paid over $73,000 for the month of September for food. I don't recall us seeing a budget of what the food account would be for the year. I know we voted on
We
it,
have
but
a
I don't remember
contract,
seeing
we have a
that contract.
contractor rate, $980-something thousand. It's right under $1 million. We have a contract, a fixed rate,
Okay,
and that's what the food is. So it's broken down every month by that fixed rate.
so isn't that a lot more than it was last year with that other company?
Yes.
But we were complaining about last year was too expensive also.
So, no, that was never our complaint, the cost. Our complaint was the quality of the food.
Oh,
So we have a total, and this is what the board agreed to, we have a total different food dynamic. Last year, our food was commercialized. It was packaged and frozen, and they warm it up and serve it. Now our food is cooked on site. All of our food is fresh food that's cooked. So that's a difference in cost. That's a difference in quality.
So we hired, okay. And then, okay, on the fund balance, there's a negative. Although we did end up coming out, that fund balance, the grand total, but why do we have the negatives there?
So there's a negative, and that is in the 60 fund. The 60 fund is where we pay for our gym. The negative is because we have not done the fund transfer. So we'll do that probably in December. So part of the plan of building the building was to use district funds. So when you use district funds, you have to move them from one fund to the next. So we'll be moving Probably dollar for dollar, we would make this biggest. I think the negative is, what does that say? Right here it says a negative $267,000. We'll move dollar for dollar from the 70 fund, working cash, which is where you have like your savings account. We'll move the money from there into the 60. So this is part of the plan. We have to wait till all of the expenditures for the gym go through, just to make sure, so that we don't have to do this fund transfer twice.
So are we gonna still end up in the positive? Because last month we said we had a, we
Yes, so we're
had all
positive.
these transfers.
We're positive. We just have to move the money from one account to the other. So when we pay for it, we know that we had to move, I want to say like $4 or $5 million from the ed fund or the working cash to cover the bill. We knew that. But you don't move the money first, you move the money once it's over. So that's where we are. So what we spent is what we spent. Now we just have to account for it on the books.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Roll call, John.
Yes. Brown. Dixon, absent. Golar, absent. Kimbrough.
Yes.
Love.
Yes.
Story. Harris.
Yes,
Consent agenda items carried.
thank you. Public comments. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Action item I. Approval of school year 2024-2025 Stronger Connection grant expenditures. Suggested motion being a presentation. How you doing, Dr. Curtis?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right, I wanted to talk to you about the Stronger Connection Grant. I'm going to start with the purpose of the grants. The grant's purpose is to support high-need local education agencies in their efforts to prevent violence and to establish a safe, healthy, inclusive, and supportive teaching environment. So we have this grant, and there's some money that we want to spend, and there's areas that I would like to talk to you about. First, I'm going to go to the next slide. The objectives of this grant. For number one, to promotion of student and school safety and security, promotion of positive school culture and climate, promotion of student wellness and mental and physical. Next slide. So the areas of the grant, the total grant is $181,643. And the different areas that we are going to spend the money in, we have personal salaries, as you can see, which is $75,000. We have personal benefits, which is $9,345. And then the direct student support service, which I can talk about personally. We want to partner with House of Health and Wellness. We have Dr. House to come out. We have students that need physicals, they need immunizations, and last year it worked really well for us because after the 15th, our students are excluded. So and I can report, we only had 6 this school year. So that's excellent. So we can see that her services are working because we have her to come out before they go to kindergarten. She provides physicals and immunizations for our pre-K students. And before the 5th graders go to 6th grade, she also provides for them also. So that has been a big help for us. B Wells. We started working with B Wells, I'm gonna say 2020. It wasn't B Wells then. It was Miss Ashley Perkins. She was talking to the staff. It went from 2021. She did a presentation for us on mental health. And so then she branched out and she got her own organization. And now it comes and she's talking to students. We have someone to come out, and we have been working with this particular person for 3 years. And she has provided that support in all 3 buildings, Calumet Middle School, Burr Oak, and Burr Oak Academy. She provides coaching, she provides mentoring, and she has supported our counselors and our social workers, because not only do we have our special needs students that need support, we also have our general education students. So she collaborates with our counselor and our social workers. And then S&T Group.
to provide mental health, physical, and behavioral support therapy to students at risk. S&T, I was so excited to work with them. I believe it started last year. S&T is an organization where our students, if they need to see a psychiatrist, it's free because we're providing this support for them. And when students are able to see a psychiatrist, if they have ADHD, if they have different, disabilities, we can't, as psychologists and social workers, we can't provide medication, but the psychiatrist can. And so our families are able to go there and meet with the psychiatrist, and they also provide weekly counseling services to our students. So I'm very excited about continuing our partnership with them. We worked with them last year, and then this is our third year working with Be Well. So it's very collaborative. And one thing that I can personally say, Dr. Naromi, every time I call him, I have his cell number, he responds quickly. I just sent a family over there. He provides the report, so I'm very pleased with the, the services that they provide. Professional development from, I believe this is Dr. Rice's company, First Student Consulting Group to provide professional development to staff in the areas of student mental and physical health. That's $35,000, and of course we have our security company, which is CEG. And again, these are the services that they have, they provide. I'll just go, Be Well's restorative services, this is our third year working with them, and it has been broken down for you all to see that. And then, Student First Consulting Group, this is what they're doing, all transparent, all what they're gonna do, the amount. And then, that's it. Any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Harris. But I have a question. As far as the security company, if you can go back a slide.
When we go next one?
Right there.
Okay.
So I'm looking at doing the after school. This is only for the after
This is
school.
for after school, I guess I did not say that yet.
Okay, so that's what I was,
Yeah,
that was just
after
going to
school.
answer.
I'm sorry, yeah.
No, that's okay. After school and for Saturday school activities.
And so just so that you are aware, Dr. Harris, go 2 slides down, it's in red. It's already embedded, so when we negotiated the original contract with BPG, they gave us a rate for after-school activities and Saturday. So this is just the grant that we paid for. So we didn't have to go through another contract with them, it's already there.
So that wasn't in our contract. It was just what the services were when they were.
Right, just the rate, that's all, that's all, yeah.
And so for the, I've seen the BO and BOA, they have the doctors, the Be Well.
All 3 schools.
Yeah.
So it's all 3 schools?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. That's
All right.
it. Thank you. So it was motion by Ms. Brown and second by, oh, no, okay. So we have a motion, or did I read? No, I didn't read, I'm sorry. Suggested motion here, be hereby moved that the Board of Education approve school year 2024-2025 Stronger Connection grant expenditures in the amount of $97,290 even as presented. May I have a motion? Moved by Ms. Brown and second by Ms. Kimball.
One quick question. So
Yes.
this, what we're voting on now, this is the actual expenditures for the grant that we already have.
This is a new grant that we just got. It was a competitive grant that we wrote for. And this is, so ISB has already approved the grant. They've already approved the expenditures. But per our board, the directors, that any new contracts we move through, that the board wants approved. So we're just approving the contracts to work with the providers.
Thank you.
Mhm.
May I have a roll call.
Brown,
Yes.
Dixon, absent, Golar, absent, Kimbrough, Love,
Yes.
Story,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you, John. Public comments. If you intend to speak, please fill out completely a question and comments form and present it to the superintendent secretary at this time.
Any comments this month?
All right, thank you. Move on to new business. Any FOIA updates, John?
No, not this month. We had last month.
Okay, and so for the Press Plus policies, it was told to me that it's still in litigation at the Illinois Board of School Board Association. So the attorney is still looking through it, so not at this time. It's not ready.
And that only applies to Title IX.
Yes, Title IX.
2265. Everything else is good to go. But Title IX is still under litigation, so we can't vote on that one yet.
Okay. You guys okay with that? Yes. We can still review it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Any board members report? Ms. Love, you said you had something?
Yes.
Well, I have two questions. One is about my tour of Borough School. But I wanted to ask a question about the treasury services. Are we going to discuss that next month or something, or what? When is she in?
If you have a question, I'm not sure what your question is. So.
The Consuela's gonna give, right.
I'm sorry.
She doing it her minutes.
Okay, so I go last.
No, you, go ahead, Ms. Love. Yeah.
Okay, my tour of Borough School. I did it on Tuesday, October 8th, at 10 o'clock in the morning. This observation does not reflect on the new administration. Most definitely does not. We went to all three wings of the building, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades. They were not teaching, there was no teaching going on. The staff knew we were coming, and they didn't, provide an assignment or anything.
Ms. Love, let's not do that. We can talk about that in closed session, okay? This is not something that we talk about that in public. That's personnel. That's personnel.
All right.
Ms. Brown?
Is there anything else? Okay, so just a quick report. Had a chance to attend the Calumet Township Trustee of Schools meeting last week. This is just to really recap, is the body that kind of negotiated the memorandum of understanding with the township, the Thornton Township Treasurer. They are an elected body. They had a reorganization meeting. Mr. Brolette is one of the members of that body. So there was reorg. They chose a new chair and a new clerk who will continue to be the treasurer for the time being. There was a discussion around retaining an accounting firm. There seems to be a conflict of interest with that particular accounting firm, so that a vote was not taken. There was also a conversation around the attorney, whose fees are roughly $700 a month that she charges. But she was not there, so that vote was not taken. There was an update on the investments that seem to be performing at about 4.5–5%. And some questions as to whether to continue to have somebody CDs or to go through an investment process to get more yield on or return on some of those CD accounts as the interest rates begin to fall. The most important information is that the treasurer, Mark Sheehan, will be stepping down. Looks to be end of November. He will be completely out of that position. There is a search as of the last week. They have 4 candidates, and one of whom seems promising. And I think the next meeting is in January, unless they have a need for a special meeting, which they didn't discuss it.
Thanks, Ms. Brown. Ms. Kimbrough?
Good evening, everybody. So I went to, we went to we attended an IASB South Cook Division meeting dinner, and I thought the most enlightening part for me was a summit from School District 104 on the Great Eight. And those Great Eight things are high expectations, shared beliefs and values, accountability-driven, focus on policy, collaborative relationships, data-driven decisions, aligned resources to meet district goals, united teams, superintendent and DOE, participate in professional development and training. And I hope at some point we can arrive at those Great Eight, because I'm sure we're looking forward to it.
Thank you, Ms. Kimbrough.
All I want to say is good evening, everybody look beautiful. That's my comment. Thank you very much.
Thanks everyone for coming this evening. I also want to say that the children are doing a breast cancer awareness walk, and that's dear to my heart, and I'm quite sure there's some other folks that have some semblance to that. Tomorrow will be at Calumet at 9, and BO and BOA at 10 a.m. And we ask if you guys just participate in that and show the kids that, you know, we want to support them in doing this great cause. Also, I want to just tell the staff, I appreciate your dedication, your work as usual. May not seem like it, but it is. It's very much appreciated. And I thank you guys for it as well. And that is it. May I have a motion to adjourn? Yeah. But motion to, be it hereby moved that the Board of Education go into closed session for discussion pursuant to Section 2C3 of the Open Meetings Act to consider the reasons establishing or filling a vacancy on the public body information regarding appointment, employment, or dismissal of an employee or officer, contracts, grievances, negotiations pending, threatened, or imminent litigation, real estate, student disciplines, superintendents, or board evaluation performances. May I have a motion? Ms. Kimbrough, second by Ms. Story. Roll call, John.
Yes, Brown? Yes. Dixon, absent. Golar, absent. Kimbrough?
Yes.
Love?
Yes.
Story?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Motion carried. It's 6:49.
Nine. Thank you.
Okay, so may I have a motion to reconvene?
Motion to reconvene at 8:14 p.m.
So moved.
Story and second. Brown. Okay, all in favor, Brown?
Roll call, John.
Roll call.
I got it right. I got it. Okay, all right. Brown? Dixon, absent. Golar, absent. Kimbrough?
Yes.
Love?
Yes.
Story?
Yes.
Harris?
Here.
Motion carried.
Motion to close, I'm sorry, to adjourn. I know, babe, don't do this. John will fix it. Motion to adjourn. Motion by Story, second.
Love.
Roll call, John.
Yes. Brown? Dixon? Absent. Golar, absent. Kimbrough?
Yes.
Love?
Yes.
Story?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Motion carried at 8:15 p.m.